start. Hört ihr mich? First question, can you hear me? Okay, perfect. So, to be honest, it's my first talk I give in silence, and I give while I sit, but maybe today it's better because I have a problem with my feet anyway, so nice to be here. And now I will talk about AI and digital assistants. So whenever there's something about the microphone or you cannot hear me, please give me any kind of sign. And otherwise, enjoy your lunch. And well, I think when we talk about AI, we see that now it's really everywhere. I sometimes talk to people who tell me, I have a life without AI. And then I always say, okay, no, sorry. How do you open your mobile? And yeah, see here, there are digital assistants everywhere. Like in the car, we have robots. We have self-driving cars already. We use ChatGPT and other tools. For myself, I have a cleaner. So since November, I didn't have to clean my floor by myself. I could always do it with this robot, and it really works, and it's still clean. So yeah, AI is everywhere, and I think in some years AI will become so normal, like for now, electricity. I don't ask you, do you use electricity? But I still ask you, you use AI. Okay, you are an AI startup, okay. But you are not an use electricity using startup. So it will become normal for us. And there are many different research areas about AI, and I would like to talk especially about generative AI. I think you all know it now from ChatGPT and Co. We have it in Gemini, we have it in Perplexity. And this generative AI, the special thing about it is that it can really create new things. So before we had just AIs who were more or less a copy, who learned just from our size or from other projects. But now generative AI can really create something new. We see it especially with images. We see completely new images who haven't existed before. And that's the cool thing, but of course also the, let's say, critical thing. And I don't want to go more into details because I would like to tell you how to use it. But one more thing is ChatGPT. Imagine how it works. It is a large language model behind that. So although we say artificial intelligence and we talk about intelligence, it just calculates the probability for the next word or the next part of words. So it's only a calculation based, of course, on data. Although these calculations are every time new and it creates every time something new, it's just a calculation based on different things. So that can also happen that there are miscalculations. Let's say the mathematical calculation is the right, but the data behind could be wrong, or the probability which will be calculated is wrong. So here we have to pay attention to. And now when we came to ChatGPT, you can skip one. What can we do with that? And I think especially for startups now, you don't have to be an AI startup, but any kind of startup, whatever, AI is really helpful. It can be your next employee or part of your employees. So what I really like to do is generating or optimizing text. And not only optimizing, but I can really generate text, especially, let's say, for new target audiences. Before I created one newsletter for all of my target audience. Now I can create different newsletters for different target audience just with one click. I tell ChatGPT, hey, come on, today I have a presentation about AI in front of a startup audience. Tomorrow I have more or less the same presentation in front of an insurance audience. Make me a next presentation, make me next slides. So here we can use this in order to just reform our content. Of course, we can also use it for code. Here I had an interesting experience. A friend of mine, he pitched a startup in front of American employees. And some years ago, when you were engineering startup, you should have really good AI cracks, AI developers in your team, and most of your budget would be part of this AI team or would go to the salaries for these AI developers. Now the American investors, they said, okay, why do you invest so much money into your developing employees? You have AI, so don't invest too much money in that part. So I found it really interesting how their interest in investing or in what to invest shifted. Then, of course, we can use it for translation. We can really use it for developing concepts and strategies or for brainstorming. And I think that's especially important for startups. We are always in front of a, let's say, white sheet. Or maybe you are very good in your product development, but you don't know how to do the marketing about it. Then you cannot afford a marketing agency. But ChatGPT can be your marketing agency and can help you with this. So which part you miss, you can try at least with ChatGPT and other tools. So I have some more in-deep examples. So for example, let's say it is now finding instead of searching. So before we had to look on Google and find some ideas or answers. Now we can just ask ChatGPT and it gives us the answer. By the way, that's a very new and interesting topic, and if you are a startup, I would tell you pay attention to that right from the beginning on. I'm doing a lot of research about that, how to increase your presence on ChatGPT. And it's not only how to increase, but it's also that ChatGPT knows the right things about you. So I give you an example. There's Microlino. It's a Swiss, or let's say a Zurich-based startup. They produce these small cars. I have one of their cars. And I had some problems with my battery, so I asked ChatGPT for help with the battery. And it told me, yeah, just open the front window or the front desk of your car and then get out the battery. And I told him, there is no front. The only front I have is the front door, so I cannot open anything else. So it was a completely wrong answer by ChatGPT, but just because they didn't pay attention to that. So very interesting, and yeah, I think if you start now, pay attention to ChatGPT. But anyway, we can use ChatGPT instead of Google. Second thing, let's get back from this white sheet. I think we all know it. We have a problem and we have to start really from scratch and we don't know how to do it. Let's say you should do a marketing strategy for your startup. You don't know how to do it. Instead of thinking, doing any Google research, you can just ask ChatGPT in order to fill this white sheet. It's not the final result. You have to go on then. You have to think by yourself. You have to prove it. And you also have to, maybe also go on working with ChatGPT in order to improve it. But you can start. And it also helps in teamwork. If you work with your teams and someone has to start, just do it with ChatGPT. Then also very interesting, getting feedback. Put yourself into another role. Imagine you should pitch. For the friend of mine who pitched in front of American investors, I said to ChatGPT, imagine you are an American investor, you hate Swiss startups. Now you get this presentation from a Swiss startup, what would you critically say? So I made it very specific and of course a bit more dramatic because I wanted to have this negative feedback. It doesn't help me when it says, oh, everything is super fine, we will invest. That doesn't help me at this point. So I really pointed out the negative things. But it's really very interesting what comes out. And you can do it for several things where you need feedback or where you just want to put yourself into another role. Imagine you have a very technical product and you should explain it to me. How should you explain? Then ask ChatGPT, how can I explain it? Some weeks ago, I did a presentation for children and I had to explain them what ChatGPT is. To be honest, I asked ChatGPT, how can I do that? Because I don't have children, I'm not so familiar with small kids. So I thought, okay, I don't know their language, I need help. And I asked ChatGPT in order to help me. Here are some different ideas. And also getting coached. That's something I really like. I learn Italian with ChatGPT. I always talk to it in Italian and it corrects me, but the conversation is still going on. I also had my test in order to get the Swiss passport, so I had to do this test. And I asked ChatGPT to ask me all the questions. When I talked to these children and I gave them an idea for what they can use ChatGPT, I told them, give them your exam preparation and ask ChatGPT for questions for your exam. So you can really try to teach yourself, but also try to teach others. If you would like to teach your team or your new employees, you can also do it with the help of ChatGPT. Yeah, and yeah, of course, as I already said, you can always try to explain something in more easy words, something in other words. And what I also like is the meeting assistant. Here you can use ChatGPT, but when you use ChatGPT, you have to pay attention that all your data goes to ChatGPT. So especially when you have a meeting, sometimes you don't know before what happens in the meeting. So maybe you don't want to let's say, to record it with ChatGPT, and also you don't want to have ChatGPT writing your protocol. So there's, for example, SwissGPT, a Swiss AI startup, and you can record your whole meetings with their software, and it creates you automatically a protocol. Not only meeting protocol, you can also say, now I need a newsletter out of that, or I need an email out of that, I need a task list. So it can also create you all the further documents. So when you use ChatGPT, I think you already found out that there are always these kind of prompt tips. So the way how you treat ChatGPT, the way how you use it, the better the answer is. Or the better you use it, the better the answer is. I would say there are now 3 different ideas how you can use it. It's a conversational prompting, it's assistant prompting, and also the reasoning prompting. So let's start with the conversational prompting. That is when you just need, let's say, a conversational partner, feedback partner. You need someone to brainstorm. Then just do this, let's say, chit-chat with him. Just ask, write, get feedback, go on with your conversation. It's super easy. It's just like talking to humans. But if you have a clear idea in mind, so coming back to your marketing strategy, it's not that you started with a white sheet. You already know your marketing budget. You already know your market. You already know your product benefits. So you have a lot of things in mind, and then you need help. Then it's more the assistant prompting. So give as much information as you have to ChatGPT, and then you will get the most best answer you can get. Here, when I do it like that, I experience myself that while doing this prompt, while talking to ChatGPT, I really have to think on myself, hey, what do I actually want? So it's very interesting that part of the work I have to do just by prompting, but it's super important work, because you know, when you want to do anything, you always need to know actually what do I want to achieve, what do I want to get out. And here, when you do this prompt in terms of this assistant prompting, you really have to think first. It's like if you have an employee, if you have an intern, if you have an assistant. So think about what you would tell them. And then the third thing is the reasoning prompting. That are the new language models, which do really this reasoning process on their own. Normally, it's only affordable with a pro abonnement, whatever. But when you do it like this, then you can just say, okay, I would like to get this kind of output. And then the interesting thing is, how does ChatGPT generate the answer? Normally, it shows how it generates the answer. And in terms of that, first of all, you see, is he really understanding me? Does he do what I want? And secondly, sometimes you learn just by how he's doing it. So here you have a nice overview, but you will get some of the slides later on, so don't worry about that. And yeah, as I already said, pay attention to all the data to give to these tools. I know that especially sometimes for startups, it's interesting because they have an, let's say, secret idea what they want to develop, and they give it to ChatGPT. I would say it always depends on how careful you are, how secret your idea is. For example, when I write a paper, to be honest, I use ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT to help me with writing some parts, although my paper isn't published yet. I think, okay, my research is nice, but it won't change the whole world, so it's affordable if, let's say, ChatGPT knows it. But of course, if you don't want that, or if you use other data from other people, from your customers, from your colleagues, then you have to pay attention to that. And I wrote a paper with another colleague, and we discussed it before, and he told me, no, I don't want ChatGPT to know what we are doing. So I couldn't use ChatGPT for this. To be honest, I used SwissGPT then. There are secure solutions you can use still, but you have to pay attention. And yeah, second thing is, when you would like to use ChatGPT for any kind of data analysis, then pay attention to your data. So really prepare your data, make, let's say, a cleanup process, make sure that all your data is correct, that all your data is full, that has good quality, that you have enough data, and validate your data before you just upload it to ChatGPT. Now what I would highly recommend you is a GPT store. A friend of mine always says, with a GPT store you can build your own AI startup in seconds. Maybe you have seen this overview which you see at ChatGPT. And here you say pre-built ChatGPTs by others. But that's not so super interesting, I would say. The interesting thing is when you do it on your own. I give you an example. During the weekend, I wanted to sell something on Tutti, and I just put it in the product in Tutti, and after 5 seconds, I received 5 emails, fraud emails from people who wanted to buy it, but they wanted to get my credit card details and so on. So it was strange and creepy. I directly recognized, okay, that must be fraud. But then I thought, okay, why don't I build a ChatGPT just for fraud detection on Tutti? It's a very small application, but I can use it either for my own or I can also share it with others. So that's a way when you, for example, need any marketing help. You have always the same task in marketing or in other parts of your daily work or also your daily life. Then you can create these kind of ChatGPTs for really specific and certain use cases. So what I did here, I pasted all the messages, all the fraud messages into ChatGPT and told him, okay, now give me similarities of them and tell me why there's fraud. I got a nice answer, how he found out that it might be a fraud message nicely. Secondly, we created a prompt for ChatGPT, which should guide or which should explain how you find out fraud messages on Tutti. So we created this prompt, and then we used the custom GPT platform, which you find on OpenAI. You will always see videos out of that if you check out my YouTube channel. And then I just put it in the prompt, so the instructions how to detect fraud, and now I get the answers. So if you want, you can try it. It's called Tutti Betrugserkenner. It's in German. Sorry for that, but everyone can use it. Just paste in the message you get on Tutti if you think it could be fraud, and then you get a clear analysis. That's now a use case I use for, let's say, everyone. But of course, you can use it internally for your company with many kind of things. You can also use it for customer service in order to reply customers and so on. So here are some more examples what you can do. You can create your own ChatGPT for emails. You can create your own ChatGPT for certain analyses. So just when you have repeating tasks, do that. The next thing I would highly tell you is prompted AI collaboration. It's a way how you use AI in your team. And I think AI shouldn't be an external employee of your team. AI should be really part of your team. So I would say the future of teams is having good prompt engineers, people who know how to use prompts, and secondly, people who know how to collaborate with these, how to use AI and people. So when I work at the university as a part-time researcher, when I do teamwork with my colleagues, we always use ChatGPT, and it's totally transparent. So we have an idea in mind. Then one of us starts with the first initial prompt on ChatGPT. It gets the results. We improve these kind of results, and then we start sharing it with our teams. So there is always this exchange with ChatGPT, but also with the team members. And that's something I just bring up into the companies. Last week I was with 2 marketing teams just to learn this process, because it's also part of meeting rules, team rules and team guidelines, how we want to work in the future. So define rules, how you want to, how you would like to use that. set yourself clear goals. For example, there's one Swiss insurance company where I introduced this process now. And in the communication team, we said, okay, from now on, there is no text without ChatGPT. No text without ChatGPT. It's not that we said everything is done only by ChatGPT, but no text without. So very interesting how they set their goals. Well, yeah. Message here, the future belongs to them who know how to combine AI and machines, AI and people. So now finally some use cases, which is more about than just ChatGPT. It's, for example, Helvetia Insurance Company. They use just a large language model of ChatGPT for their own chatbot. So here, it's not the content of ChatGPT, it's just a large language model, but they trained this large language model with their own data. And now the customer service really receives less calls because the people, they understood, it's a really clever chatbot. It can really solve my problems all the day, at night, every time. So here they really improved their customer service, not only in terms of cost, but also in terms of profitability and also customer satisfaction. Another idea is here, it's fully automated, so customers get the answer fully by AI. Another idea is that the AI is only used by your customer service agents. So that's a process where a program where the customer service team, of course, it receives the email by the client or by the customer. But then secondly, the AI summarizes the whole email and also the customer's history. Third, the AI suggests a nice answer based on previous answers, based on previous emails and learnings. And then the customer service agent, he just has to prove this answer to either say, okay, I've directly, immediately send it out, or I would like to improve it, I would like to change something and then send it out. So here again, it's this collaboration between AI and people. Yeah, you see also here, the last point I would like to highlight is the employee satisfaction. So the employees are more satisfied with this idea instead of if they have to do everything on their own and they receive too many emails. What I do is video translation. I already told you that I started to learn Italian. It's still not so good that I can have an own AI Italian YouTube channel. But since I live in Ticino, I wanted to translate my YouTube videos. And I do it completely with AI. I always make a note, okay, that's translated by AI, but it's 100% translated by AI. And it really works, I can tell you. So at the beginning, I was also like, okay, maybe a bit creepy, maybe now I cannot talk so good Italian. But the point is, the Ticino people, they love if you talk in their language. And since I make my note over it and say, hey, it's done by AI, it's totally fine for them, but it is their language now. Jumbo, I love that point. They made their product descriptions with AI. So they don't only have like 3 products, they have a whole online shop full of products. So they started to generate descriptions just with AI. And you can see, first of all, it's just one description for all kind of customers. But in the next step, they can create this descriptions for different kind of customers. So imagine you are logged into your online shopping login, and you get all the descriptions really focused on what you are interested in, what you already know, and so on. So super nice use case. Coding, I already said, and I think it's already really in place for most of the companies. And yeah, last thing I already mentioned a bit, not only the way how we work changed, but also the work how our clients, how our customers, how the people around us work or search. So we have to pay attention on this AI chat management. So here it is very important to have content also on different platforms, not only content on your website. It's more about this classical search engine optimization. You have to look about PR and how others write about you, because when ChatGPT is searching or looking for information, it always checks all the other websites as well. It checks reviews and PR stories and everything. So I tried it on my own, and when you see here my analytics from last year, ChatGPT wasn't mentioned. But when you see my analytics from this year, ChatGPT is on the 4th place. So many people, I would say, come via ChatGPT through my website just because of some improvements. So start working on that and don't forget it. And yeah, last thing for that, if you would like to find more about that, I made a report for this AI chat management. You can download it here. And yeah, of course, you can always book a consulting with me. But even more interesting, I would say, is my WhatsApp group. I love that. I don't like sending out newsletters, so I just have my WhatsApp group where I always post all my news and also interesting things about AI. So if you want, just enter to this WhatsApp group. But secondly, if you have a topic where you want to talk about it, I would suggest make a WhatsApp group. I know it's not about data protections, but to be honest, that's my second WhatsApp group now because the first one is full. It's only allowed for 1,000 people, and the first one is already full because it's so easy for people to just enter into this WhatsApp group. Everyone knows how to do it. It's not a Telegram channel with more or less no one has. So yeah, I would highly recommend this kind of communication channel with you who would like to push yourself or your startup, whatever. And yeah, last thing I want to tell you now, I talked more or less 30 minutes about AI, which is super interesting, super important, whatever. But still, don't forget humans. I love sending out postcards. I love sending packages. I love sending cakes to my friends, really. So I brought my postcards for you. Of course, it's a bit kind of marketing. One side is marketing, second side is postcard. But really, if you send out a postcard, it stays in their minds. So don't forget that also in private life. And yeah, if you want, take one of these and